welcome to the third episode of Down to Brass Tacks. I'm John Stark here with VMI assistant lacrosse coach Tony Mackin. Coach, good to have you on camera finally.
Good to have you, John. Thank you and the crew for coming out to see me.
No problem. And you're new to this, so we'll sit down. We'll do a couple. You've seen coaches, so we'll sit down, ask you a couple questions, past games and upcoming games. So let's get started here. Let's talk about the success of Stephen ROBARGE and the entire face-off unit this year. They're always tops in the country, and same as last year. It's repeated success.
Well, we take a lot of pride in our face-off. It's one of the things we go into every game. We prep specifically for it, and we watch a lot of game film, not just from my end, but a lot of the guys do too. I tell them to get online. They come sit down. We watch a lot of film. Working with a guy like Stephen ROBARGE has been great. It's been an awesome experience, not only in his work ethic, but also his, tenacity at the face-off X in practice and in a game. And one of the things that I really like that we've pushed last year or ever since we got here with Coach Anken was not only just the face-off guy, but the face-off unit as a whole. And that goes out to Chris Rossi, Gaston Ledford, James Van Wee, Peter Fisher, guys who also work on the wings and work against us in practice. And as a coach, it's a great thing to watch. Chris, Steven, Gaston, guys who are going against each other pretty much for the same spot, push each other day in and day out, knowing that there's only one spot for that, but also helping each other with techniques or any problems they're having. And I know Steven's gotten a lot of, credit over the season. He deserves every bit of it and probably a little more. But, a lot of the success we have as a face-off unit comes from exactly that, just kind of being a cohesive unit and working together.
Now, this isn't your first opportunity to work with one of the top face-off men in the country. When you were a student coach in 2008 at Lycoming College, you got a chance to work with Mike Doherty, and that kid finished the year, just absolute tops in ground balls and face-offs.
No, I fully agree. And, playing with and working with Mike, that was kind of my first time being around a very proficient face-off guy, and it was a great experience for me just to see, how he gets focused and kind of the work ethic it takes to be one of the top face-off guys. I keep trying to get Mike down here to take a face-off or two against our guys, but just to kind of show him how we do it on post.
That's it'll be fun to see sometime. Now, looking back, you guys picked up your first MAAC win since April 25th, 2009, this past Saturday at Manhattan. Long trip up there, long trip back. Kind of talk about the game plan, and I know that there was one unexpected piece of that game plan coming from junior Matt Lindemann.
Yeah. Well, I think Matt's always kind of secretly wanted to be an attackman, so this was his way of finally getting it. We always tell him to push it, or take a few chances in the clearing game, and well, he took a pretty good risk and paid off well. And well, heck, if it was up to me, I'm pretty sure we'd want to score off of every clear. But going up into Manhattan, they're not a team you can sleep on. They're a good team. They're well coached. Very well disciplined. From the face-off wise, at least, we went in. We knew they were going to kind of throw everything they had at us, so we kind of wanted to prepare for anything we might see, whether that's two poles on the wing or taking a face-off with all three poles up on the face-off. And that's also a big compliment to our guys on the wing, Chris Rossi and James Van Wee. They did a great job of, keeping the guys away from bars, letting him do his job, win the face-off, and also get free from them. And not only that, but they were great outlets for him too. So if we had the wings converging very quickly on him, he had a free guy open in Chris Rossi or James Van Wee. Defensively, we kind of changed our view of it a little bit different of how we were going to play these guys. We wanted to really press out on them. We want to stay in their hands, not really give them too much of a chance to think or really scan the field, and just kind of play some hard-nosed defense and kind of force the bad angle shots and the frustration shots. We knew Matt would have a good job, saving and then clearing it up the field. I don't really I make a point not to hang out with the offensive guys that much, but I know coming into it we were looking at keeping our passes and our feeds pretty crisp and just making sure that we made our shots count. And I think we did a great job of that, especially on the offensive unit. We got some great athletes on there that can really they really know how to finish the ball.
Now, looking ahead, you guys have Mercer on Saturday, 2 p.m. game up at the Sprint Turf Field. That'll be the Wounded Warrior Project, and Mercer's coming off a tough 14-2 loss against the University of Delaware on Monday. What are you kind of looking forward to in that game?
I'm looking for a battle, and Mercer, coming off the loss like you just mentioned, they're going to be hungry and they're going to be wanting to, improve the win and really get at us, and that's fine because we're coming off a big win, and we want to kind of keep that streak going. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great game. Mercer's a good team, someone who always prepares, and we know they're going to probably look through every nook and cranny of our film and be very prepared for us, and that's going to be, not only fun for us, that's going to be a great lacrosse game to play in, also a great lacrosse game to watch, and especially come out, support the Wounded Warrior Project, which everybody on the team, and I know at Mercer too, is really looking forward to.
Thanks, Coach. And coming up next, we'll be sitting down with junior goalkeeper Matt Lindemann, who was named the MAAC Defensive Player of the Week after putting up 15 saves and an assist, as we mentioned earlier. And after that, we'll be speaking with Coach Anken in regards to the Wounded Warrior Project game this Saturday. So be sure to stay tuned. Junior goalkeeper Matt Lindemann. Matt, first off, congratulations on being MAAC Defensive Player of the Week. That was a big honor. It's the first one since Stephen ROBARGE back in the beginning of 2010. You had 15 saves in your first career win against Manhattan. Kind of, how'd that feel?
I was obviously very excited to win, but really the saves are just a result of great team defense throughout the whole game. And I couldn't have done anything without those guys all working as hard as they did. So, I'm very honored to be honored like this. With this Player of the Week.
So now, you kind of put up an unusual stat for a goalkeeper. You came out of the game with an assist. Kind of talk us through that play.
Well, there's a shot down low. I made a nice little stop, but and I was going through, and Manhattan they were doing pretty well riding. They had almost everybody covered. I was about to go to one of our check down looks to the close guy when I saw Mickey up top. He was streaking toward the goal and calling for the ball. So what the heck, why not? And I just tossed it down to him. And when I threw it, it kind of went through my head. It's like, oh, he might shoot it or whatever. That'd be pretty cool. But I immediately was like, nah, he's gonna pull it out or whatnot. Then he goes and shoots and actually goes in. I was like, no. And it was like, all right! So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was at that game. It was kind of cool listening to the whole audience, sitting there. They were pretty hushed and waiting for the announcer to say whether there was an assist or not. And then once they did, I saw you give the fist pump, and the crowd went wild. It was great. So.
Yeah, it was quite exciting.
Yeah. Well, good luck this weekend with Mercer, and of course it's the Wounded Warrior Project game, and we look forward to seeing you in the goal. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much.
And we're back now with VMI head lacrosse coach Brian Anken. Coach, good to see you again, and congratulations on the win last week.
John, feels great. Appreciate it. It's always good to come back and do a show after a win, so we greatly appreciate it.
Now, looking at this Saturday, we talked with Coach Mackin about what he expects from Mercer and you guys as a program. But Saturday is going to be a special day and one that kind of hits close to home for, VMI as a whole and, with the lacrosse team as well. And that's the Wounded Warrior Project. And I know you guys have been doing some fundraising and some raffle stuff for that.
Yeah, it's really been a great opportunity for me. When I took over 2 years ago, this was something that we had in place and something we have been doing for a couple of years. And really one of my first orders of business when I got here was making sure that we not only continued this project and this fundraiser, but almost tried to even kick it up a notch and make it really our primary focus of the spring as far as our fundraising opportunities go. It's a great cause. It's a great project. I'm just so thankful to all the parents and alumni that have gotten involved over the last couple of years, and certainly the ones that are involved this year. I think it's going to be our best year as far as fundraising abilities for the Wounded Warrior Project that we've had here in the last 3 or 4 years, and I just couldn't be happier about how much that we've really embraced what this program's about and how it directly affects so many of our players here.
You guys have had a lot of alumni come from the program that go into commission, and something not everybody gets a chance to see every day is down in the locker room you have big boards with every alumni's name on them that commissioned afterwards. do you think that kind of means to the guys that come into the locker room every day?
Well, I hope it means that they understand the bigger picture of things. We always tell guys, and especially recruits and their families, that one of the biggest parts here is seeing the bigger picture and seeing life after graduation and seeing the commitments and the expectations we have from our players, both on and off the field. We want those guys on that board to know that we greatly appreciate everything they've done for us, for VMI, for our country as they're over there, defending our freedoms. We also want them to know that we're always thinking about them. And I think that's an important piece of our guys understanding, during this entire process, but really understanding every single day when we put on the gear to go out to practice. It is a little bit of a humbling experience. And at the same point, it's also an experience for us to understand that there's been some great individuals that have come through our program that have gone off to do some phenomenal things and represent us so well that they've really set the bar very, very high for our current players. And I know our guys are going to do a great job continuing to meet and exceed that bar that they've set.
Thanks, Coach. And it's it's always a unique thing to be, kind of have that not looming, but something to look forward to after they graduate.
Absolutely.
And again, this Saturday will be the Wounded Warrior Project game as the Keydets take on the Mercer Bears Saturday at 2 p.m. up at the Sprint Turf Field. There will be opportunities for raffle tickets and T-shirt sales at that game with proceeds benefiting the Wounded Warrior Project. As always, be sure to follow VMI Lacrosse on Twitter at VMI Lacrosse and on Facebook at facebook.com/VMI Lacs.